Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. Demonstrations were once again held across Canada today over the way schools teach sexuality and gender identity and how teachers refer to transgender youth. Here in Thunder Bay, a protest was also held at Arthur Street Marketplace, along with a counter-protest organized by local pride groups. Jessica Clement has the details.
Just 1 month after the Million March for Kids protest, protesters were out once again as part of the Hands Off Our Kids movement. Like the previous one, this protest is meant to display concerns to the provincial government and school boards about teaching students about sexual orientation and gender identity, and allowing parents to decide which pronouns are used for their children. Multiple protesters declined to comment about their concerns, but said their signs speak for them. In response to the protest, local pride groups came out and organized their own counter-protest at the same time. Rainbow Collective, Thunder Pride, and Loud Women Collective said they're standing up for love, equality, education, and transgender rights.
You don't own your children! You don't own your children! You don't own your children!
Local MP Lise Bourgeois also attended the counter-protest, saying that young people need support and safe spaces in school to figure out who they are.
I'm deeply concerned about the amount of misinformation that is in circulation. I would like to reach out to parents. I'm quite prepared to have conversations with people, really to try and dispel some of the misinformation out there. The sex education curriculum that we have in schools was approved by the Conservative government. There's nothing shocking in it. There's no such thing as gender ideology or indoctrination or whatever it is that's being passed around.
Bourgeois adds that above all else, the well-being of children and young people should be at the forefront.
I suspect we have more in common with the parents who are protesting against effectively sex education in school than they realize. And perhaps we realize. I don't know. I hope things are not so far gone that we cannot talk to each other and try and dispel the misinformation that's there.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Bourgeois was also at Queen's Park recently, where she demanded equal protections for Ontario's fire rangers. She challenged the Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry on the province's treatment of its forest firefighters during a question period this week. Fire rangers are the province's wildland firefighting crews who generally work under contract during the forest fire season. Bourgeois and her counterpart in Mushkegowuk, James Bay, are asking the government to reclassify its fire rangers to give them the same workplace protections as other firefighters in the province after a record-setting year for forest fires.
None have been more affected than the forest rangers who put their lives and health on the line for us by fighting these fires. They need to be reclassified so they will be recognized, compensated, and receive the same WSIB protections as all other firefighters.
When I was in Timmins last week, we announced $20.5 million to further expand our ability to fight wildfires in this province. And as part of that was a recognition, again, of the fantastic job that our firefighters do, recognizing that we need more strategies around recruitment and retention for firefighters.
Smith did not commit to reclassifying the fire rangers as firefighters, but said he asked the WSIB for an assessment. Emergency crews responded to a pickup truck found upside down in the Aguesabon River off Highway 17 near Terrace Bay earlier today. Terrace Bay and Scriber Fire Departments, Superior North EMS, Nipissing OPP, and the MTO were on scene just after 1 p.m. today for a pickup truck which was found upside down in the Aguesabon River near Terrace Bay. The highway was shut down for roughly an hour, but traffic control is no longer in place. At the moment, there is no update on any injuries or fatalities involving the crash. To explore the importance of regional research and collaboration, a conference was held earlier this week called Research into Action, hosted by Lakehead University Research Institute EPID at Work. The inaugural event brought together community members, employers, workers, and researchers. EPID at Work, which stands for Enhancing the Prevention of Injury and Disability at Work, is an institute that conducts research in the area of work-related injury and disability prevention with a particular focus on northwestern Ontario. The conference's objective is to share what the institute is doing and build partnerships within the region. EPIT Director Vicki Christman says since they're a community-based research institute, they want to connect with the community as best they can.
There's no better way to do that but to invite them and invite community in and hear what they have to say, share with them a little bit about us so that they get to know who we are and what we are able to do. And so really work with community. So that was the main impetus for the conference in the first place, is really to engage. If you want to be a community-based research institute, you need to work with the community.
More information about EPIT and its research can be found on LU's website. Meanwhile, a two-day conference was held this week to shine a light on dementia and the stigma surrounding it. Lakehead University hosted the event called Living Well with Dementia, which brought together service providers, dementia sufferers, and their care families. Once again, here's Jessica Clement.
Residents made their way to Norwester Hotel on Monday for a conference that's being run for and by people living with Alzheimer's and other similar brain disorders.
To give people living with dementia a voice and to have them included.
The conference was hosted by the Northwest Dementia Working Group in collaboration with Lakehead University's Center for Education. Nisha Sutherland, associate professor at LU, says their goal is to shine a light on the fact that it's possible to live well with dementia and raise awareness about stigma.
Some people, as soon as they're diagnosed, people stop talking to them, and we're just saying, hey, you can live well with dementia and you can be included.
Socialization is very important for everyone, and particularly for seniors and people living with dementia, to be able to talk, chat, interact, and, share a meal with each other.
The conference included a number of keynote speakers, as well as a panel that featured individuals who've been diagnosed with dementia and their loved ones. Sue Dowdy Smith was one of the members on the panel. Her husband has Alzheimer's, and she spoke about what it's like to have a loved one with dementia.
It's good to hear other people's circumstances, and there was things that I know these people very well, and there's things that I didn't know when we talked about all about ourselves, and also for people in the audience to hear that. I think it was really a good idea, because it's easy to assume what other people are going through, so it's nice to hear them from them directly, and then you get a better idea.
And she has some advice for those who may be going through similar situations.
It'd be really easy to just sort of cocooned at home, but I'm telling you, reaching out and meeting people like with Sarah, the people from the university that are putting on the conference, the working group, those are the people that you connect with. You go to the Dementia Cafe. It's like, it ends up being like family, but it's also, a lot of it's your resources. Reach out to at least one or two people, and then the connections just continue from there.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The Pebble Beach Renewal and Marathon has suffered a number of setbacks and delays. It's now expected to reopen on November 13th, but the town has had to significantly reduce the scope of the project. The ambitious $1.35 million infrastructure upgrade will still include a viewing platform, boardwalk, and a new parking lot. However, plans to build a more accessible path down to the beach, replace the playground, and create a campsite have been shelved for now. Mayor Rick Dumas says labor demobilization, supply chain issues, and skyrocketing costs made the cuts necessary.
They say we looked at a playground equipment that was $200,000, it came back at $500,000. The campsite is just basically clearing, running some electrical conduit, and landscaping, and a couple picnic table areas with concrete pads. That all doubles and tripled from the time we did the engineering report in 22, the end of 21, 22, to go to tender for 23. So it's just like, wow, this is really outrageous. But we knew there was going to be an increase. We just didn't think it was going to be that much. So it's frustrating we had to eliminate some of those key aspects, but it's okay. We still have a beautiful Pebble Beach Park that overlooks Lake Superior.
Some remaining elements of the design by Vancouver-based landscape design firm HAPA had to be modified, including the viewing platform, which will no longer be cantilevered over the beach. A generous donation means students at Algonquin Avenue Public School will be able to take their education outdoors more often. GFL Environmental provided money to the school this week, benefiting a number of outdoor initiatives. The $4,000 donation means students can learn in comfortable and natural settings. The school's new outdoor classroom is already a hit with the students, who were able to get a lesson on different birds they can find in their neighborhood. Principal Darren Lentz talks about the benefits students received learning in an outdoor setting.
to ensure that all kids get taken outside because field trips cost a lot of money. We never leave students behind, and this just ensures that we can take all our students and have many experiences outdoors, expose them to the environment, get them outside, and have those experiences on the land that really nurture education back in the school.
Well, we feel we got to, do our part and with the community and give everybody the, whatever opportunities we can help them out with.
Other outdoor opportunities at Algonquin include tree planting and storytelling by the fire. We're now joined by sports anchor Joe Sadowski. We go from learning outdoors to playing indoors, and the North Stars were in action.
I love what you did.
That was a good one, eh?
North Stars, they were in action last night against the Fort Francis Lakers, and the Lakers still on the hunt for that first win of the season. We'll have those highlights and more coming up after the break.